24th of February 2021. My name is Sergey Baklykov. You're watching Baklykov Live. Now here, I'm in my neighborhoods in St. Petersburg, Russia. And right now, gotta go to my just neighborhood bar. I will sit down there. And today, it will be just more like a talk, some kind of debate. Not typical for me, the political talk. I just want to give a response to one of the videos which is recently was widely distributed through the internet. It's why young Russians don't like the current governments. And the thing is, it's going to be like more like a general answer, not exactly just to that video, but actually a common answer, because these days I see a lot of videos like that. I would say like liberal videos, because now the opposition, the Russian opposition is so-called liberals. Okay, and I'm already kind of tired to look at how here and there all over internet there's many videos like from Russians targeted for the English language audience all over the world, and saying not so good things about Russia. And I've noticed that there's almost no content from just like the same YouTubers like me, let's say, who can give another points of view. Well, in particular, I will give an answer to the video from the channel called Yeah, Russia by Natalia from Khabarovsk. I have found about her just several days ago when some of my subscribers asked me, do I know her? I never knew her, so I got to her channel. She said she actually got inspired with my channel. Yes, in 2014, but started her channel just in 2018, okay? And recently I saw the video from her, like a pretty liberal video, which got pretty wide, and there's already like 13,000 likes so far, against only like about 1,000 dislikes. So most people are absolutely agree. They heard only one side, and now I just want to give my side. I accept the opinion of Natalia, absolutely, and now I want it to be just an intelligent talk, okay? An intelligent talk. So I'm just gonna share my opinion. So she shared her opinion. I want to share my opinion, and also I hope that you guys in the chat, you will be pretty diplomatic as well. I hope that we will not fall for like mutual insults with like no real reasons, okay? So yeah, I mean, let it be the political chat today, but let it be like kind of objective, okay? So let's never turn it to just mutual, how to say, insults, okay? So if you say something, just make it like a position, your position, like explain it, okay, why you think this and that. So let's try to be like really debates, even if now we will like a kind of apart in this question, okay? However, we don't have to turn to an animals, and bite each other. Well, I decided just to sit somewhere, not to walk, because I want you to be focused on what I say, just on what I say. In that residential building, there's SW bar, just a neighborhood bar. I'm gonna sit down there. We'll order something to drink, and we will talk. Hello, everybody, dudes. Keep joining. Michael's Vino for you, Sergey, Natasha, and I need to watch later as I'm swamped at work. Look forward to this chat. Thomas Robinson, hey you, and Anders Ljunggren. Thanks so much, guys. Yeah, a lot of snow was in St. Petersburg recently. Look at this. However, it's already like about 0 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow must be up to +4 Celsius. So the spring is coming. This is like technically in Russia considered like the last winter week here. Officially, the spring starts at the 1st of March. Okay, steak and wine. I'm not gonna eat now. I'm just gonna get a drink. Wiping my shoes. Здравствуйте. У меня был на 10. Куда в итоге сесть? Ну, вот сюда желательно.
Если им сразу чай кофе.
Так, ну, можно чай в чайнике. У меня сейчас в чай в чайнике, у меня вообще основной заказ будет минут через 30-40.
Да?
Да, потому что сейчас мне надо тут кое-что проговорить. А потом, ну, чай будет черный, черный.
Большой, маленький.
Gonna wash my freaking hands. I'll be right back. 1 minute. So hello everybody, once again this is Sergey Baklykov, you're watching Baklykov Live. Now sitting in a neighborhood's bar just where I live here in St. Petersburg, Russia. And today came here just to talk, to make some political talk. It's not typical for me, my channel more about just the normal, regular life in St. Petersburg in particular and in Russia in general. In 2020, I've made it to almost 40 cities and towns and some villages as well. I think that I'm not gonna make it regular. So it's one of not many political talks I ever had in frames of my channel. But the thing is, for the last time here on YouTube, I see the situation where there's so many vloggers, like Russian vloggers, who are making the content like me for an English language audience. And mostly this is so-called liberal, the liberal opinions, the liberal political opinions, or the supports of the liberal opposition here in Russia. Yeah, now the opposition of the current Russian government, that's so-called liberals, with the leadership of Alexei Navalny. And in the meantime, I see like there is nobody who can give an opposite view. So I'm gonna give it today because I'm kind of tired already of it, that I see such videos, mostly liberal videos, but not the videos from another side. You can call it whatever you want, like pro-Russian, pro-Putin, whatever. You can call me Vatnik or something. Well, okay. So how I came to this? The thing is, just like several days ago, in the same moment, some of you guys sent me the question like, do I know about Natalia Kurnaeva from Khabarovsk in a far east of Russia, who making her own channel like mine, and she said that I was her inspiration yet in 2014. So she started her channel 4 years after. And well, I checked her channel. She seemed like a nice young lady. She's only 21 years old. But I see that she's actually started like 2 years ago with just like a real, normal, regular vlogs, authentic vlogs about her life. But now, unfortunately, it went unfortunately for me at least, went so political and so one-sided. And her video like that is not the only one. Okay, so I see how recently such videos are booming. I don't know. I don't want to think that it's like an algorithm already tuned in for that to push the videos, like that, or maybe it's just really. Actually, I think that YouTube algorithm can read now what people really want pretty good, or it's just people really want to hear that, because like now for so many years Russia portrays as an evil, and I don't know, maybe when people are hear about like Russia is bad, like some bad facts about Russia. So they love getting such a confirmation, because it's really not easy when from mass media you all the time hear that Russia is bad, Russia is evil, there's the threats of a nuclear war with Russia is possible, and stuff like that. So now it's going to be my response as to Natalie, in particular to her video, which is called "Why Young Russians Don't Like the current governments," as in general to all the videos like that, because I see there's absolutely a lack of another point of view. And here, I just want it to be an intelligent talk, okay? I don't want it to turn to be like some kind of war, and same about you guys, please, in a chat today, even if you were like having different opinions about like the current Russian governments, not about Russian people, but Russian governments, okay? So please keep it like intelligence. Yeah, let's have a talk. We can have a different political views, but we are the human. We are not animals, okay? So let's keep it pretty intelligence. Let's not fall for just like, an insult or something like that. Let's be just objective. Let's communicate just like a normal, intelligent, educated people and stuff like that. So I hope everything will be okay. I want to ask mods to let the chats go today pretty political and delay the messages only in case if it's something really, really nasty, something really, really insulting and personal. And by the way, personal to you. you can say whatever you want about Putin. You can say whatever you want about Navalny or politicians, but let's be respectful to us, okay? The video of Natalia, and here is I marked some of the moments that I want to comment in her speech and to give my opinion. Here I've got my tea. Here I've got my tea. I'm not gonna eat now, only just to drink and talk. О, прекрасно, прекрасно. You know, I forgot to say that. What about Natalia? I'm just feeling a little bit responsible for what she's saying now. She said that I inspired her. My videos, yet since 2014, inspired her to start this channel, and that's why it was like the last thing that made me to make the video like this, like to give my opinion. The if you want, okay, let it be the opinion of Vatniks, you know, patriots, call it whatever you want, okay? So yeah, the thing is, I was just really tired of so many videos now, like so many negative videos about Russia, and I was like, you know, it was a feeling like, you know, somebody say bad things to your friends, you hear it, you will not agree with this, but however you do nothing, you say nothing and feeling like a jerk. That's what I felt like. Now finally I decided to finish with this and to give my opinion, because you guys have to know another side, and what's important is actually going to be pretty balanced, and what's important, liberal, because liberals, they like all the time saying they are for a freedom of speech, freedom of choice. Yeah, like when you're not agree with them, they call you stupid Vatniks. However, at the same time they say they are accepting the opinion. They are for a freedom of opinion, freedom of speech. Okay, so I absolutely accept the opinion of Natalie from here, Russia channel, and here is my thing. Okay, so Natalie started her video with the generalization of all young Russians. She said like she said, so this is going to be the video about why we young Russians want to leave Russia. And this is the first thing that I've noticed about so many liberals and the supporters of liberal opposition, which is mostly consisted of young people. These young people immature yet, okay, so pretty often they say we instead of I. So let's say pro-Putin Russians, they mostly say I, so they are already pretty mature people, and they can stand for their opinion. Anyway, how is it possible to generalize all the young people of almost 150 million Russia? This is millions of young people, and this is already like the first thing I'm not just agree with, like to say we, the Russian people. Come on, Natalie. She's not the spokesman of the Russian youth. Okay. Okay. She said that 53% of young Russians, according to the Levada Center, said that 53% of young people wants to leave Russia. But it's actually kind of strange to refer to Levada Center, which is absolutely officially financed by the U.S. organizations like MacArthur Foundation, the National Endowment for Democracy, it's Soros Foundation, Ford Foundation, and the Massachusetts University, and more. Well, another rhetoric questions regarding like why all these organizations like and institutes of the expanding the democracy in Russia with foreign financing doing here? For now, it's just a rhetoric question. Okay, but this is not too trustable. Anyway, even roughly like 53%, it's too much. It's like every second young person wanna go to wanna go abroad. Okay, well, from my personal communication with young Russians, I can say that I don't see as much people like every second want to leave. But even those ones who want to leave, far not all of them want to leave by the political reasons, just because they don't like the current governments. They are just thinking that there's a bigger salaries, which is truth. But many don't yet understand that there's also a way more expensive cost of living. Okay, so yeah, bigger salaries, but bigger cost of living, higher taxes, and other stuff. Next thing she says, I quote, "We feel unsafe and deceived." This is a kind of serious statement, and however, I never heard how exactly the Russian government deceived her or other Russians, and how exactly they are feeling unsafe, at least in terms of the Russian government. Okay, so if you will follow for the whole video, you will never find like the certain examples, like what exactly she mean, how they were deceived, how they are feeling unsafe. You know, the next pretty important thing, probably one of the most important things Natalia said, and even never noticed that. It's absolutely epic phrase that she says. Look, she says she lives under Putin for 20 years. 20 years, so actually like a whole of her life. And she is now 21. And she don't know any other alternative. So it's like she and the use of Russia. And this is pretty important. Now I will explain. So the fact itself that Putin staying at the authority for 20 years, it means nothing yet. Not negative, not positive. This is just a fact. Like, yeah, it's a little bit different, but anyway, let's say in Great Britain, okay, so there's like the Queen staying for way longer, okay? And let's say in the Soviet Union, one of the most, actually the most stable periods of the Soviet governments referred to Leonid Brezhnev. Leonid Brezhnev, he also was staying at the authority for a long time, but it was pretty stable. It was absolutely, more stable than, let's say, Stalin times and Khrushchev times. Okay, so yeah, so the term means nothing. And next thing, she said, what's the most important? She don't know any other alternative. She don't know any other alternative. Just think about it. So she here actually never noticed how herself she's stating that she don't know any other alternative, because yes, she is absolutely lucky to be born in, like, I guess 2000 or 1999. Okay, 2000, let's say. She's 21 now. Okay, so she don't remember not the Soviet Union, not the so-called dashing 1990s after the collapse of USSR. And this is what I remember. And I was born in 1984. I remember a little bit of the Soviet Union, and I went through already kind of decent age. Yeah, still was a boy, but decent age in 1990s. And I also went through the whole 20 years of Putin. And I can say that she just maybe don't know in what a condition Putin got the authority of Russia in 2000, right after Yeltsin. That was the real tragedy back in 1990s. Okay, and look, already in 2004, 2005, the life was much better in Russia than in 2005. And I can tell you for sure, and this is just an absolutely official data, and you can't resist it, that 2020 is way better than 2005. So what we have objectively, we have these periods of a growth. Yeah, maybe not as much as we would love to, not as much as it could be, and so and so and so. But the growth keep going. So that's why the majority of people are supporting Putin and vote for him. Look, to say honest, I'm thinking that maybe the rating of Putin is a little bit exaggerated, but it's not that important for me. It's not that I know that the majority, however, supports or at least the current situation. They don't, or at least not supporting the liberals. Okay, the opposition. They don't need the new revolutions. Okay, and that's what for me enough to know that the majority is supporting that. And it's not that important how many percent is that, 51 or 60, 70 or 90. It doesn't matter. Also, it's pretty important to say that Natalie probably never remember how there was the collapse, how happened the collapse of USSR, and who was behind the authority back in those days. Guess who? The liberals, so-called young liberals. I can tell you the certain names: Anatoly Chubais, Boris Nemtsov, Yegor Gaidar, and Kiriyenko. No, Boris Yeltsin, of course. So back then, really, the Soviet people fell for so-called Western democracy. Back then, they really supported the new course more than the old course of the Soviet Union, because back then they believed that the new young politicians will come to the authority and now they will make better. But they never made it any better. For example, with their participation, there happened so-called privatization of the national treasures, national factories, so-called залоговые аукционы, loans for shares. And you know, here they are actually realized the dream of so many people who are now talking about, look, there's an oligarchs and they give nothing to people. But look, back then it's happened something like what people like this want. So look, they are printed the so-called vouchers. It's like your share. It's like your share for the privatized national, the Soviet factories. Okay, so the state factories. So people got just the papers, and the businessmen got the factories. All the Soviet Union worked for years for like a pretty cheap price, and that's where the oligarchs were born. So the oligarchy was born in the beginning of 1990s, right under the after the collapse of USSR, and it was, look, what's important, it was way before Putin. It was way before Putin, and look, the corruption back then became as much, as big, as huge, how to say, as the Soviet statesmen couldn't even dream about. Because look, back then, Soviet Union was a closed country, and yeah, like the Soviet politicians, of high-rank politicians, they had everything, but inside of the country. But it couldn't be possible even for them, like to sell off the Soviet factories, okay, Soviet factories, the factories, okay, and move the money, transfer money to the abroads, getting the second citizenships, like dual citizenships, and buying the property outside of Russia. It wouldn't be possible. So, the corruption that was in the Soviet Union, it's a joke. It's a joke compared to what it was in 1990s, because it was the time of a total mess. Look, the old government is gone, the new is coming, and all they are thinking about is just about the how to say to strength up, like to cement their authority there. If talk about the simple people, back then, they were in a real poverty and in a real depression, because when the new government was busy with just the authority, with like everything was fall down on them, the control of just a regular life came to the bandits. Yeah, those famous 1990s bandits, mafia, real mafia. It's really the times when, yes, there wasn't gothics, and you could get mugged, and you could be killed just for, I don't know, like for a little amounts of money. A lot of criminal from people who wouldn't make it now. The criminal, not because they're criminals, but because literally they had nothing to eat, okay? And their kids had nothing to eat. You have no idea how many fates was, killed back in those days, okay? So I myself remember how many of my neighbors, of my friends, back in those days, in the days of poverty and depression, they died of alcoholism, because there was nothing to do but just drink vodka and to do very cheap drugs, like let's say a crocodile, and to die just like in a 2-3 month, okay, because the body was rotting, okay, right away. Yeah, so that's what you need to know about 1990s. And one of those young liberal politicians and reformators and economists, Boris Nemtsov, which is now portrayed as a victim of the regime. He was actually like the second person in the government. He was like a son for Boris Yeltsin, and he was absolutely sure that Boris Yeltsin will make him the president. But look, it's really interesting why, after all, Boris Yeltsin, the last thing that he did, he decided to put the Iron Hand, more mature and older man, KGB man. Yes, Putin is he officially was in KGB, more old-fashioned, more like Iron Man and stuff like that. So after all, he decided to place Putin on the post of the president. And this is something what Nemtsov never was able to stand for, and that's why Nemtsov got into the opposition. He was sure that probably Putin not gonna stay there for long, but as we can see, so it was the wrong move for him. It's a wrong move. And at the same time, it was already too late for him to get back. In 2000, Putin came to the authority at the 7th of May 2000 year. And one of the first things what he did, he met with the oligarchs back then. And he said, look, dudes, now there's a new rules of the game. You pay taxes here, okay? You pay taxes here. You do something for Russia. And most of oligarchs got it and got for these rules. Those ones who never did it, Mikhail Khodorkovsky, he got into the prison, and Boris Berezovsky, he had to run away to the London. So that's how Putin started his way, and Russia, little by little, started to grow up. He made the reforms in the police, in the FSB, which is a former KGB, in a tax inspection, in a business, so he got the capitalistic way. Many people like blame now. I mean, like many people have a lot of complaints about losing these social guarantees. But look, back in those days in 1991, you forgot that actually you have changed the social guarantees of the socialism to the free rights of the capitalism. But just not everybody was ready for that. They thought that the life will become better and more like, if I can say so, well, let me say it simple, like more freeloading, like more freeload monies will coming, okay? So that's what Natalie do not remember absolutely. And that's why I said that in the very beginning, she said the most important thing in the very beginning, she lives under Putin for 20 years, of 21 years of her life, and she don't know any alternative. In 1990s, there really was the biggest unemployment ever, extremely low salaries that people were waiting for a months and months. And yeah, there was also in 1998, there was the crisis when just in one day, the Russian economy fell 4 times, and it was before Putin. You know, in August 1998, one of the days of, I don't remember the exact day, but people went to bed when the dollar was equal 6 rubles and woke up when it was 24. I also have to mention, well, let me to say a few words about the Chechen war that lasted for like the most of 1990s, and Putin stopped it. Now actually Putin getting along pretty good with Ramzan Kadyrov. Ramzan Kadyrov pretty proud Chechen Republic to be a part of Russia. And look, there in Grozny, in the capital of Chechen Republic, they have the Putin Avenue. Putin Avenue, okay? Next thing that Natalia said that they, young people, are having an access to internet, and she is thinking that she is more informative. But look, internet is actually like a huge field of information. You can't sort it out if you don't have first knowledge, the knowledge of history, at least the nearest history. I'm not talking about Romanovs, I'm not talking about Ruriks. At least the newest history, at least starting from 1985, okay? And the second thing, the skill, your own experience. Let's say I look absolutely different on the things that happens here because I was born in Soviet Union, lived in 1990s, and now living already also for the most of my life. I'm 36. Look, I'm 36, almost twice more older than Natalia. And so I look absolutely different at it because I take all this information differently based on my knowledge of the history, and what's more important, my own experience, because I still remember even some of the Soviet days, even though I was 5, 6, 7 years, and I perfectly remember all the 1990s. Next thing. She blamed the Russian education and called it outdated and compared it with the United States. In a moment when Russia is officially one of the biggest suppliers of the programmers into the United States she's talking about. It's IT specialists, okay? And again, she's not explaining why exactly she is thinking Russian education is outdated and old, okay? So look, Russia is one of the biggest suppliers of the programmers to the United States, not a dishwashers, but the IT specialist, means brains, not the physical power, okay? So why people need the people with a Russian education if it's so low in her opinion now? This is just absolutely not relevant. I mean, this is just not truth. And she is saying like, yeah, there are so good classes in the United States. She was in the United States, and so the universities there, and like, yeah, they pay $40,000 for an education there, but then they have like job opportunities. Look, like it's never happens in Russia. Look, here in Russia, if you finish the university, you also have much more opportunities than if you never finish the university, if you're getting skills. So it's absolutely not different than here. And yeah, it's not different in Russia. And a few more words now, very important words about just one little information about the Russian education, starting from the Soviets, finishing with the Russian education. Look, I will call it from Sputnik to Sputnik. Look, the Soviets' education made Russian people, Russian specialists and scientists to send the Sputnik, the satellites, into the space already in 1957. And recently, they are created the vaccine Sputnik V in 2020. And here I want to refer to the article of an American. Yeah, I intentionally want to refer to an American stuff. I mean, mass media, Bloomberg. So like Bloomberg going to be way more biased than I would say this is an article of any Russian magazine or mass medias. The article from Attention, 5th of February 2021. Already in the first chapter, it says, I quoted, Sputnik is the biggest scientific breakthrough since the Soviet era. Countries are lining up for supplies of Sputnik V after peer-reviewed results published in the Lancet medical journal this week showed the Russian vaccine protects against the deadly virus about as well as the US and European shots, and far more effectively than Chinese rivals. So read it yourself. Bloomberg, article from February 5th, 2021. So how it could be done with outdated Russian education? How? So there's no any arguments. Look, what I really don't have enough from Natalia in that statements, that these are just the statements. So she's saying the statements, but she never explained why she's thinking so, and never give a certain examples. How, let's say, I now give it. I give you the certain examples: 1957 Sputnik, 2021 Sputnik V, when the oligarchy was born, the certain names, the certain dates, you know, all this stuff. Then she said that Russian government wants to restrict the educational activity in the university. That they want to control, and they want the Russian universities reports in case if any university will want to make the scientific exchange with the foreign universities. But look, this is not the restrictions. This is just the way to control it, like to be aware of what happens. like coordinated, because here we talk about scientific works, okay? Scientific works. They are not restricted. They just want to know what happens, because the science, the scientific openings, scientific works, it's it's a product. It's a product of brain activity. And once most of universities, at least good universities, they are state universities with a lot of budget, means free positions. So the Russian government invest the money into the universities, and many specialists are getting raised as a specialist on the government money. So that's why the government now wants to control where you want to pass the knowledges. It's pretty normal. But after all, it actually contradicts with what she said just before. She says there's an outdated education. If in Russia we have an outdated education, then how come the foreign universities wants to exchange any scientific works with us? If we all now are stupid, if our universities are, are stupid, I mean, got old and outdated, never bring the new knowledges, and just really outdated, you know. The next thing, okay, so then I'm not sure what she said, but she said like Russia root you into the violence. And there she is showing the photo from one of the protests that recently was here in Russia, in particular in Moscow and St. Petersburg. It's a protest like for the leader of the liberals, Alexei Navalny. And look, well, here, should I really show one of thousands of videos about how, let's say, the United States police dealing with the protests there? Okay? Look, need to understand that the current government, you want it or not, but this is an elected government. Yes, maybe a little bit exaggerated or so, but this is a legal elected government by the majority of Russians. In the current government now, I'm sitting now, and actually it is providing the law and order. You see, everything works, business works. I'm free to come here. YouTube is not closed. I'm sitting here talking to you. And look, when you're coming into the streets and you call it protest, and you're actually demanding for the smash of the local governments, at first place, the violence is you. Well, technically, the violence is you. Even if you're just saying that, well, it's a peaceful demonstration, peaceful walk away, or something like that. But the final goal is the removal of the government supported, officially supported, elected by the majority of Russians. And here, you can't to expect that the government will play the games. The government defends itself. And look, if Navalny or other liberals, if they would come to the authority, and in like 10 years, here would come another guys, and here will be formed the new opposition, and they will call, well, let's say, they say, we are the socialists. We are once now the socialism again. And they will go to the streets and they will demand for the removal of the liberal governments. Believe me, Navalny would do absolutely the same. And this is what happens in all the governments. Same happens in the United States, she referred to as well. And look, back in those days, at the 23rd of January 2021, ironically, I was in Moscow, and just like 1 kilometer from Pushkin Square, where that protest was. I saw that they were never supported with the majority people. All the rest, Moscow never cared. Everybody was into their business. The official number says that there was 15,000 of protesters, and even they themselves saying that it was 40,000 protesters. Look, in Moscow there are living 12.6 million residents, only officially. I'm not talking about how many people are coming there and living like on a just without the registration in Moscow. Okay, so but even if talk about the regular population, so even if we will take like the higher amount, 40,000, how much is that? Do the math. 0.3%. That's it. It was a fail. It was an absolute fail of the opposition. Only 0.3% of people got into the streets. It was a normal day. It was Saturday. Everybody could get out. If at least like I don't know, 200,000, 300,000 people got to the streets, nobody would help. It would be a critical math, you know. Then not the police, not even army would help, and that's what happens in used to happen in many other countries, okay? Because the police is really powerless before such a crowd of people, and the army is just already resist to shoot so many of their own people. But here it's never happens, and it's never happened because most of people really support Putin, or at least this current situation in Russia, because many people are actually older, and many people remember 1991, 1917. I mean, at least knows about 1917, and they don't want the repeat of 1917 or 1991 in 2021. So yes, that was the fail. Yeah, they tried to like keep encouraging themselves, like, whoa, look how many people was there. It's not many people. It's only 0.3%. I was making the live stream back then, and you saw like how the whole Moscow was just never cared about that. And after all, I came to food mall called Depot. If you remember, there was hundreds of young people. They were dancing, they were drinking that martini, and that's it. So they never cared. So next thing, she was talking about the LGBT rights. LGBT rights, that she see a lot of discrimination of LGBT rights. Okay, so however, how it is connected with the majority of youth? Many youth don't care about LGBT. I mean, they are pretty loyal. That's it. And actually, Natalie herself knows that here now in Russia, everybody pretty loyal to LGBT, and they are intentionally always like saying this is law against LGBT. In the moment when it's a law against the propaganda of LGBT, nobody care who you fuck with until it's like your own business, until you're not trying to impose it. But even with this law, I can tell you that this is nowadays mostly just it's still staying mostly just on a paper. Okay, mostly on a paper. Anyway, I never heard how exactly Natalie discriminated with this. Maybe she's getting blamed that she when she is kissing on public with her girlfriends or other girlfriends. But look, here is it's not about government, it's just about society. And again, pretty important to say that here Natalie never looking for the historical facts, the historical thing. Russia, it's the country with already more than 1,000 years history. It's an Orthodox Christian country. Before that, it was like a pagan country. Then it's an Orthodox Christian country. and there was thousands of years of how to say making the foundation for traditional family values. And even if you fight for this, okay, fight for this, but you never have to expect that it will happen just overnight for just your click of your fingers. Because look, you have to understand at least the Putin, at least as the politician, he is KGB man. Come on, he was born in the Soviet Union, and he will never let it like officially that yeah, like do whatever you want. You wanna like promote your LGBT on every corner? Come on. You wanted that? You wanted this? Come on, do whatever you want. So yeah, I think that actually Putin got this law, but it's not worked too much, and I don't see that homosexual people are somehow really discriminated. And look, same law actually works for heterosexuals as well. Here, people don't appreciate even when the heterosexuals like too much impose, like promotes, demonstrates their intimacy into the public. So it's not about like just about the orientation, okay? Anyway, I never heard how exactly Natalie was discriminated with the law against LGBT propaganda, and how is this supported with the majority of the youth from whose name she is talking from, which is actually not okay. Then she said that it's like Russia always have a some kind of, if I understand that right, like like a mania of Western threats everywhere. And attention, you know what she's talking about? She's talking about the Russian Foreign Agents Registration Act. And she is supposing that like this is the real shit. And this is real stupid that the government has accepted such a act. But you know that actually the United States, she always referred to, is way behind in this regarding the Foreign Agents Registration Acts. Check it out, 1938. That's where the Foreign Agents Registration Act was accepted, how to say, issued in 1938. So she don't know sometimes even the basics, okay? And from this point of view, I really believe that Natalia will make some conclusions, will review her opinion. I think she is a nice girl, and she has have a plenty of time in her life, if not to change her opinion, but at least like really to be more critical and more researching, if I can say so, researchable. And look, and Russia got these Foreign Agents Registration Acts only in 2012. And look, RT channel got into the foreign agents list in the United States in 2017. Yeah. So what? Well, technically, this act even means nothing. The United States and Russia now just wanna make it clear. And this is not the restriction. This is just like some kind of label. Okay, so if you're working in Russia, same as if you're working in the, if a former foreign organization works in United States and a foreign organization works in Russia, both countries are and getting financed from the outside of Russia and in Russia and US and the US. What happens? So they admit you as a foreign agent. You can keep working, but just yeah, like you will be in the list of the foreign agents. So everybody to know that you're actually financed not with the Russian or United States government. Okay, now in Russia here works 654 organizations, absolutely legally financed with from the outside of Russia. The total amount of the money that comes to these organizations officially 26.6 billion rubles. So in the moments when Natalie tried to portray this as just a like a Russian thing, in the United States, it exists already since 1938. 1938. And the first mention, the basics of it, was started yet in 1790 by the Jefferson. Check it out. You know, it's enough. It's enough just to get to the uh, to at least Wikipedia. No needs even like digging too much. At least Wikipedia, okay? Just it's a basics. It's just the years of foundations and the basics of work, okay? And what about all of this like Western threats, Russian threat thing? Well, it's actually nothing. It's like it's some kind of game. The United States and Russia playing already for years and years since the Cold War year. Okay, like all those, let's say, the trainings in the United States, like of getting into the shelters, bomb shelters, in case of you know, in case of a nuclear war, nuclear attack from the Soviet Union and stuff like that. The next thing, Natalia said that she hates and like from her face, the young Russians hate the mandatory army service in Russia. But I know like now here many young boys who want to serve in army, who are thinking that they have to serve in army. And again, she never know that there are 66 countries in the world where the serve in the army is mandatory, and some countries are also make it not makes us to be in army not only the boys but the girls. Okay, and again here she like absolutely never go down into the history. She's thinking that just I don't like it and I think it must be abolished. Okay, so she's thinking that it must be abolished without any historical depth. Look, so here we need to understand that the Russian history was full of wars, and it always was pretty important for Russia to have an army. Russia has a huge territory and a lot of land borders. Land borders. It's not like in the United States where you go north, there's Canada and the ice, and you go down, there's Mexico, and from in the west and in the east, there's an ocean, and that's it. Here, Russia needs an army, need a huge army, but even here, she never knows that in the beginning of 2000s, there was 2 years term for the army here, but now it's only 1 year. That's serious. That means that Russia already managed to get a half of people they need into the contract army. So like it's about like probably seems like technically it must be like a half of army. I'm not sure exactly, but I mean technically it have to mean so that a half of army now is on the contract, and many guys love that. Let's say my neighbor Artur from the 11th apartment. He served in Abakan. While he served, he got an apartment, an apartment from the Ministry of the Defense of Russia. And if he will, and he makes money, so he goes to the army like to the job, and he don't have to be there in the army barracks for like 24/7. He goes at home like every day. It's just like a work, okay? And if he will serve for certain amounts of time, for years, he will get that apartment into the ownership. And so he's now already got a girl, got married. I don't know if he has kids already, but I know he got married. He's living. He's going there like to the work, and it's pretty important. And look, so here we have an understanding that Russia working on it, but you can't make it just for 1 or 2 years. It's a very big infrastructure, army. The Russian army, it's a huge infrastructure, and you can't optimize it like pretty quick. But the work in this direction is going. Also, she said that they say you need to pay back a debt to your motherland, and she's like don't understand that's what it really means. She's trying to simplify everything to like, hey, she said like, I was just born here. Like, look, like teenagers often tell to their parents like, hey, you born me, but you gave a birth to me, but I never asked that. So I was born. She said I was born. I just was born here, and I pay taxes. So and that's it. So leave me alone. I was just born here. It doesn't make me mandatory. I'm not a slave, she says. I'm not a slave of the country. Yeah, you're not a slave of the country, but you're a slave of your ancestors, of your history. Yeah, it happened so that here in Russia we had a huge history. We had a huge history, okay, of many wars. All the time, somebody trying to attack Russia, and there was many wars, like when the greatest war ever, 1941, 1945, World War II, Great Patriotic War, okay. And yeah, so we have to deal with this. We have to deal with this. And yes, this is the depth. But this is depth not to the government. This is the depth for our roots. You can do nothing with this. You can ignore it. But this way, if you ignore it, you actually cut off your roots. And we have to respect the roots. Yes, we are kind of slaves of our roots and our history, and we can do nothing about it. If people before us, our ancestors, grandparents especially, like we're thinking the same, here would never be Russia now. We would lost the war. Back then in 1945, I think that's one of the things why we never lost the war is that like all the people starting from 18, they ever were in the army, and they had at least the basic skills of how to deal with the machine guns and all this stuff, all those tactics. So for a normal people, the mandatory army, I mean, who respect their roots, it don't have to be a problem. You can't just cut it off and to say like, hey, I was never asking to give me a birth. It was independent of me. I was just born. Now I pay taxes and leave me alone. Okay, you pay taxes, and half of army is already paid off by the contracts. But give it a time. And again, let me tell you that the military service, it's not the current government's thing. Okay, so people serve in Russia for like the most of its history, and there was the days like centuries ago when people had to serve for like 20, 25 years. Okay, yeah, the army is just a part of Russia, but little by little, this is already turns into minimum only 1 year, and also there's a lot of legal ways not to serve in army. Okay. Next thing. That's actually what I don't really like about the liberals is that even those the liberal Democrats, they always talking about the human rights, freedom of choice, freedom of speech. But these days, based on my own watch, liberals are pretty aggressive and pretty one-sided. They don't respect other people's opinion. If it's different, if you're not with us, you are against us. And no matter you're a pro-Putin or just anti-revolutionary, because here is actually many people who like Putin is okay. It's not really like pro-Putin, but at least they don't want the revolutions, and they not pro-Putin, but not liberal. Okay, so again, she's saying that Putin now getting less and less support. How it can be known if recently he got elected, and the next election is only in 2024. So for now, there's just not enough of official data to understand how many support he has. And look at that protest at the 23rd of January. Only 0.3% of people got into the streets. Okay, and I quoted, now only stupid vatniks and babushkas are supporting him. So you see how easily it is for liberals to give a labeled cliche to the people just because they are loyal to Putin, or at least to the current political situation. The people who don't want such a bold moves, okay, in terms of like liberals. So look, everything was so much simplified. Just look, just two categories, like babushkas. So this way, she's probably trying to say that only like really like old people and just stupid vatniks. So you see, so like the majority of Russians was labeled as just stupid vatniks. And it's interesting to say about the word vatnik itself. Vatnik is actually it's a insulting version of the word patriot. This term was born in 2014. Vatnik in Russian language, it means such a simple wool cotton jacket. Okay, so it's like all the patriots they portray as the people like low educated, low intellectual, like pretty simple, kind of really like stupid people in a wool cotton jackets. Like like you're a fools, you're a stupid, you don't understand nothing. So like we all have to wear the vatniks. Vatniks, it's such a wool. Just search for vatnik, wool cotton jackets. Okay, so the liberals for the last 7 years, what I don't like, for the last 7 years, are really trying to discredit the words patriot. No patriot for liberals, but vatnik. You're not patriot. You are vatnik. So they trying really like to downrate as much as it's possible to downrate the word patriot, to make it really not trendy, really not fashionable. And it works. Unfortunately, it works for especially the younger audience. But I know many people, older people, and I know that this is an education people, the people with experience in life, the people who saw so many things in their life and remember different times, family people, older people, and now look, they all just labeled as only as stupid vatniks. So am I. You can actually call me vatnik if you want. But look, do I really vatnik? So I really lived my life. I was born in Soviet Union. I saw how people struggled in 1990s. I saw my family. I saw how my classmates were dying because of drugs, because of vodka back in those days. And I saw the life during Putin. Okay, so I raised the family. I have a wife, I have a kids, I grow them up, and always I'm working since 17, since 2001. I'm always trying to do something, okay, and always tried to make maximum for my country in terms of what I can to do for my country, and I have a right for my opinion. But the liberals label me, oh, me including, as just a stupid vatnik. Okay? Okay. You know, everything is so simple. So simple. They trying to really like completely to discredit the word patriot. And also, you can look at the at my live streams all the time. Not only here in Saint Petersburg, not only in Moscow, but this summer, just this summer, I've made it to 40 cities and towns, and you saw everything. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not like before the road trips, people used to tell me that, well, of course, that's just Moscow. That's Saint Petersburg. It's not real Russia. Okay, I chose the real Russia, and everywhere it was great. So who can tell me that it was not good in Samara, in Ulyanovsk, Свияжск, Чебоксары, Нижний Новгород, Сергиев Посад, Переславль-Залесский, Rostov the Great, Kostroma, Yaroslavl, Ivanovo, Suzdal, Vladimir, Kaliningrad, Petrozavodsk, Vyborg, Великий Novgorod, Novgorod the Great, Pskov, Old Russa. Who can tell me that? Maybe it's too bad in Magnitogorsk, Chelyabinsk, Tyumen, Yekaterinburg, Perm, Vologda, Kirov. Come on, are you kidding me? And look, so yeah, at the 23rd of January, there was only zero point 0.3 people who got into the streets of Moscow. Even after that fake investigation of like Putin's palace. Yeah, I'm pretty great that most of people never fall for that absolutely fake investigation, like so far-fetched thing. Because look, they tried to say that that mansion, it's actually like, it's not even a palace. It's like something in between of mansion and palace. For Putin, they're constructing for 10 years. In a moment when Putin having an absolutely great official residences, including Bolcherov, Ruchey, and Sochi. Okay, so why she need just one more stuff? And also, what is there? It's absolutely out of his psychotype. Okay, just like aqua discotheque, the room for a dirt tap dance. It looks more like just some kind of guest house for the guests, like yeah, like high-rank guests, for them to have many things to do. Anyway, there was like all with 3D graphics. But when, after all, the journalists, like another journalist came there, they got inside. It's not even finished yet there. And look, the guys, Navalny and his team, really tried to admit us that they can't to construct the Putin's palace for 10 years. In a moment, for these 10 years, by the order of Putin, was made and constructed all the stuff for one of the best Winter Olympic Games ever, the Olympic Games of 2014 in Sochi, World Cup 2018, and the Crimean Bridge recently. So you really guys thinking that if it was Putin's palace, they really would construct it for 10 years? Are you kidding me? It would be killed for 3 months. If Putin wants something, he gets it quick. Dudes, come on. It's not even that big, mansion. The Russian Tsars constructed their palaces faster, back in those days without all the modern techniques. It's so far-fetched. It's absolutely far-fetched. And I'm glad that the majority of people never fall for that. But unfortunately, Natalia did. But look, they do that. Actually, this is one of the features of the liberals. They exaggerate the facts, which seems comfortable for them, and vice versa, ignoring the facts which is not so okay for them. Okay, so they ignoring it. Like for example, 23rd of January protest was absolute fail. Yeah, but they trying to like courage themselves. Like no, anyway, it was good. It was good. Come on, 0.3%. Okay. And look, in the moments when now Vatniks, pro-Putin's or at least pro-current situation in Russia, people looking at the liberals mostly like on a small naive kids. The liberals are pretty aggressive. They are pretty aggressive these days. Look, how they can fight for the freedom of speech, the freedom of opinion, if they call everybody who not with them stupid vatniks. Come on. Dedushka, like an old man. But it's okay. They say nothing that's, let's say, Biden, way older than Putin. So in America, it's okay. But here in Russia, it's like, old man. Here is some more things, like the militarization. Shouldn't like that here we have the too much of memorials of World War II. Too much of memorials of World War II. That's we're making the victory parades, but again, it's not Putin started. The first parade was at the 24th of June 1945, just in 2 months after the victory. After they just got 2 months to get ready for a parade. 1945, 24th of June. Okay, so it's an old tradition which is just keep going. Okay, and this is just more like to commemorate the people. Okay, to commemorate the people, like almost 27 million of the soldiers and the civilians who died in World War II. But now what Natalia is trying to do is just trying to get everything to just like to fall everything for a political stuff. Like this is just a propaganda. This is just a propaganda. So this way, the governments, Putin, they just want to keep the patriotism inside of Russians. Also, she mentions about like young army and that she's against kids in the army. Oh my. First of all, need to get it that this is completely voluntary. It's like a section. The parents of those kids, they let their kids go there. They don't give it. Anyway, it's not the kids in the army. It's more like some kind of scouts, something like that. Come on. So this is pretty far-fetched. It's pretty far-fetched. Well, and final thing that I want to say that, okay, so Natalia, she want to leave Russia. She want to leave Russia. She is not happy with living in Russia. But she's living in her private house and she's saying how she's happy about that. She is allowed in different from Soviet times and can afford in different from 1990s that she don't know to go to the United States for the student exchange program. She's coming back, she's starting her channel, she is making pretty critical video to the Russian government, and nothing happens to her. I still never got it how exactly she is discriminated, how exactly she is unsafe, and how exactly she is deceived according to her words. So to resume, she don't like that Putin is already 20 years at the authority. Never explained how exactly she is feeling unsafe and how exactly the government deceived her. Russian education is outdated, even those thousands of IT programmers hired by the American companies all the time. And recently, the scientists made Sputnik V, which is stated by the American Bloomberg, as one of the biggest scientific breakthroughs of Russia since the Soviet times. She hates that when people goes to smash the government, they are getting the resistance. They are literally getting with a button by the head. She hates the law against LGBT propaganda. Those never got it how exactly she was discriminated in this. She hates people supporting Putin and called them just stupid vatniks and or babushkas or babushka. Well, not everybody wants to live into the West. Many people, the majority people, loves their motherland. They loves Russia. So am I. And I'm always thinking about how to make my own country better. And here is many things I would love to get better, but I never want to discuss it with the foreign world. Okay, this is our internal thing. I don't know. If I will see the video of an American guy who learns Russian and he will go online, record the video, blaming the American government, I don't think I would appreciate it, because your own problems have to be your own problems. Yeah, and again, that's even again American president said that don't ask your country what you can do for your country. Ask yourself what you can do for your country. Okay? It's pretty important to say that this is the quotes of an American president. It's just way less biased. Okay? Dudes. Russia, greatness and power, unbelievable depth of a culture, history, architecture, science, arts, literature and music. Россия, величие, мощь, невероятнейшая глубина истории, культуры, архитектуры, живописи, искусства, литературы, науки и музыки. Россия. So that's it. Oh, 90 minutes I was talking to. Прекрасно. I'm sorry that here is such a unstandard situation for me. I was not able to stop, and I had to miss all of your super chats for the last 90 minutes, and now they just disappeared. Mr. Fe, Thank you. But you can send me an email, okay? Scots from an American patriot to a Russian patriot. Thank you. Okay, yeah. Look, about patriots and about Russian Ivans. What's really makes me happy that we Russian Ivans and you American Joes and I don't know European Georges, Pauls, Michaels. We are mostly getting along no matter what happens there in the governments. I'm really glad that, however, we're saving like a normal behavior, normal relationship. We, just the Russian Ivans and the Western Joes. Paul Koski, great sweater. Yes, my cardigan. Cabana, Kara, Iman too. Thanks, thank you, dudes. Thanks for appreciation. And look, so let me tell you once again. Okay, I accept and respect the opinion of Natalia, especially since she's so young. But now you also please accept my opinion. Cabana, thanks. Ralph Palmgren, I love your comments. We share the same ideas in many aspects. Anna Morania, big time. Серьезно подготовился. Ну, на самом деле, просто пометил моменты себе некоторые. Даты там, чтобы не забыть точно. Pomansky to Sky, did I miss it? Why? Well, later you will watch this as the recording. Okay, HSM Epic Return. Mr. Putin has built excellent foundations for the future. It is his fault that his 7 challengers in March 2018 spent the presidential election hating on each other. In 2000, 90% of Gov income was fossil fuels. Today, 70% is from a diversified economy. Captain Ron, Vladimir Putin is the greatest leader alive on the planet today, while the economy of Russia is relatively small. The fundamentals are good and the future is bright. This is why I'm investing 100% of my assets there. Ivan M. If I could meet in person either Putin or Sergey, I would choose Sergey. Lots of love and respect from Croatia. Dude, thank you. I think that now actually I probably have to order American burger as a solidarity to American people, to show that no matter what a political views we're having, just like we and average people of Russia, we have no any problems with Americans. At least I don't have, and Westerners, Europeans. How drunk are you? I'm drinking tea. It's just a tea, just a black tea. Just tribulation. Thanks. How old Sergey? He looks 20. I'm 36. Okay, so I think it's pretty symbolic now for me to order burger. I ordered burger. What do you think about the Artemy Panarin situation? I'm not familiar with it yet, sorry. What about corruption? I think that corruption is definitely exists, but the fight against it, it's keep going. It's keep going. Let's say in 2018, there was 12,000 cases against the statesman. Look, the thing is, it's not as easy to kill as it may seem. For example, in China, there's they shut those statesmen off, but even there, they still can't kill it completely. Okay, so it takes time. It takes time. Corruption is a problem everywhere. I can go on and on about corruption in Canada, but we don't consider it corruption because it's technically legal. Ivan, no, almost never I notice the restaurants and concert halls to go there. Sophia, hi Sergey, I'm gay and I have always been fascinated by and in love with Russia. I would love to live there someday, but have no idea what being openly gay in Russia actually looks like. It's pretty okay actually, unless like you're maybe too demonstrative, too imposive on it, like until it's just your like private thing, until it's your intimacy. Nobody cares. Putin knows borderless globalism is dangerous. Um, yes, the thing is, I think that's the most of the most of anti-Putin thing started after his speech in 2007, when he decided for himself that he won't join NATO. So here is like pro-Western and also pro-Yeltsinist clans, if I can say so. They understand that need to do something with this, and they completely got it when he was when it's became when he decided for sure to be re-elected in 2012. So the very first attempt of the revolution with Navalny again was made yet in 2011, 2012. Also never worked out. And so the Navalny as a project now he is going under the how to say under the protection of those clans. Okay, it's stupid to think that she's like came from nowhere, just like from people, and that's so she has a lot of defense. She has a lot of coverage. You know, it's everything not that simple. It's not that simple. Unsubscribe, Mirka. Okay, thank you so much. I actually love it when you're unsubscribe, because when you're unsubscribing, actually you're like making my audience clear. Ivan M, did you ever get into trouble filming something or someone? Dudes, don't film me. Can you describe your craziest or funniest experience? Only once. It was not that long ago, just like in Ufa in the beginning of January. I was in a bar, and there was one guy who said that don't film him because he's sitting with the company, relaxing, and if I will film him again, he will put the camera just into my ass. Whites, do you like Putin? Well, start this video to the very beginning. There for like 90 minutes, I'm talking about it. FK, I double subscribed. Thank you. Sergey, how much influence do liberals have in St. Petersburg? Not so much. Not so much. Because here also was not so many people on those protests. Actually, I think that recently those protests are a very good indicator of how much the liberals are supported by the population. What is the widest part of Russia? St. Peter's? The widest parts? Well, the most of Russia, if talk about the central region, not the republics, but just, I don't know, Siberia, Moscow, central Russia. Yeah, St. Petersburg. You should do a live stream around town sometimes, like a night out at the bars and talking to random people. Search for Baklykov live bar hopping. You will see I have such a videos. I don't really talk to people those. What are you people discussing about? We are. I'm just saying my opinion as an opinion of, call it whatever you want, pro-Russian, pro-Putin, Vatnik, call it whatever you want. Because look, let me tell you once again, this live stream, I mean the subject of this live stream, just, yeah, it was already for a long time I wanted to make something like this. Because all the time on YouTube I see like the channels and a lot of videos of my own compatriots making the stuff for an English language audience, and they say shit about Russia, mostly only liberal opinions. Okay, so I'm just got tired to ignore it. It's like, I had a feeling like, you have a friend, somebody saying bad things about your friends, you hear it, you're not agree with this, but you say nothing, like a jerk. Okay. And Robertson, have you ever met a foreigner that speaks Russian as good as a native speaker with no accents? Check out the channel called John and Eva. This is a Canadian married to a Russian girl. Once we've met here in Russia, in Ufa. And look, I think that she was pretty clear, almost with no accent. I think that his accent was, I think he is the person who almost have no any accent. How much percent of Russians support Putin in the UK? All the media is against him. Well, I just know that the majority. It's hard to say how much exactly. I think that maybe official data is kind of exaggerated, but anyway, it's not that important for me. For me, it's more important that the understanding that the majority supporting him, especially around the older audience with experience behind their back. I've got my burger, pretty symbolically. I now specially ordered this burger because I think that's for this political talk, after all, for me, as for Russian, it's pretty symbolic to eat up an American burger. I'll be right back. I need to wash my hands again. I was touching the menu and all the stuff. Bon appetit. You know, I want nothing but peace for Russia, the West, and for the whole world. Bon appétit. Thank you, dudes, for your opinions. Now, after my long speech, it's really nice to see your opinions. Marco Grouch, thanks for appreciation. Big time. Look, I'm also pretty thankful to you for it seems like the discussion in the chat was mostly good. As far as I can see, at least most of you, I actually was not reading the chat at all. But for now, I see that nobody fall off for just like, any insults. I was asking you not to go to any personal insults, even if we have different opinions. And thank you. That probably I see you follow for that. Yes, we can be intelligent. Okay, time to pay. О, прекрасно. I think you focus too much on some girl, the amount of. Well, I said that in the very beginning that it's not just the response exactly to her, but on the example of her, because she's actually like touched many topics, which is actually pretty common for liberals of Russia to complain about. So it's not only like for her, it's like commonly. I just got it as a basement because I feel a little bit responsible for what she's saying. She said that she was inspired by me in 2014. Можно мартини 100 со льдом? Да, да. Matt from Florida. No truthful American can deny anymore that our presidential election was a sham after the Time magazine article that just came out. And loyal Americans understand you being a loyal Russian. Thanks so much. We are the Western Joes and Russian Ivans. Anyway, have to get along together. Thank you for all of your comments when I will finish, and it will be available just as a video. I will reread the comments. I was not able to read the comments because I was like talking all the time. How many people are in love with USSR today? I would say not maybe in love, but nostalgic. It's many people like 50 plus. Many people older, 50, 55. Well, my mom absolutely enjoyed the Soviet times. Спасибо. Да, спасибо. Также можно счет там вот с номером карты. С номером карты.
Фамилия. Может, теперь по фамилиям делать?
Нет, я имею в виду, вот там номер есть, то, что перевести.
Все.
Well, I was making the live stream with my mom about like maybe a year ago, and she personally was saying that she was happy in the USSR because yeah, like nobody was super rich, but everybody had enough, and the majority of people, like 90% of people, were pretty equal to each other. Do you think Vika would like Soviet life? I just don't know, so I'm not thinking about it. Some martini. Oh. Sergey, what did you study at the university? I studied public relations. Public relations. I need to pay. Done. Enter the way. You're a good spokesman. I saw your US interview, impressed with your diplomacy and fuerte. Thanks. Sergey, do you like Chburashka? Yes, this is one of the most popular cartoon characters here in Russia. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Let's go. It's already midnight here in St. Petersburg.
Да подожди, Виталий.
There we go. Спасибо. Вы получили, да? Спасибо, до свидания. So, what we have here, shitty Russia, with the new residential building, the concept of the yards without the cars, playground for kids, the grocery store, the bar. So the struggling Russians can afford only BMW, sorry. It's pretty slippery. Also Range Rovers. Is it cold? No, I think it's about 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, dudes, thank you for watching. I will keep it short. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your attention. Thanks for being intelligent to listen my points of view. Even if you're not ready, not agree with this, it seems like everything went pretty good, pretty quiet. We were able to have just like a normal discussion. Thank you. I will read all your opinions, some later, as soon as I will come home. It will be converted into just a video, and I will be able to rewind the live chat. Thanks so much. My best regards from Russia, with love to the whole world. In the end, traditional panorama, of course. Neil McDonald, Iman Hattar, J.I. Lewis, Stephen Briggs, Michael St. Pauli, Christian Tremblay, Sophia Monaco, FW72, Matthew Mason, A11PX, Jim Ross, Silke Hagemeyer, Paul Kaski, David, Andrea Caruza, Nick Miller, Ludivine Wittenberg, Ralph Palmgren, Pat O, Ernest Connell, Cyberflyer1, Julia Hopper, Eustace, Des A. You all guys have a great week and upcoming weekends. Scott, Serge Ginsburg, Cosmic Section, Lomcast, Craig P, Vladimir Kobzyev, D West, Cyberflyer1, MCAL 2010, Great Gatsby, Iman Hattar, Anna Murania, Thomas Robinson, Madura S, Ashwin Morley, Todd Metzger, Susan P. Faust. You all guys, thank you for watching. Max Rahman, Baisha Boy 1, Majed Mahmoud, Susan M, Marco Grosch, Cajun Guy 1950, Blue Diamonds. Okay, see you. Россия. From St. Petersburg, Russia, with love. Hey, let's make it to 400 likes, and I will turn it off. Okay? Thank you. Bye.